أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به وأجل أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أيها المسلمون. That is, I seek refuge with Allah from rejecting enemy Satan, with Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful Redeemer. Surely we praise Him, we seek His assistance and forgiveness, mighty and sublime is He. I bear witness there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is His servant and messenger. Prayers and peace be upon Him, upon His companions, and upon the righteous all. You, dear believers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us another Jumuah, another Eid for us. This is Jumuah Mubarak. And we know that the Jumuah is bigger than the Eids. And we are grateful that Allah brought us here safely, join us together for another opportunity to reflect upon His words. And we need each one of us to be here, dear believers. We take it for granted when we're traveling to the Jumuah who will be there. But we should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for those who are here when they are here. Because we can't pray and get the benefit and blessing without each one of us. So although you're coming as one, it's a blessing that each one of us, we need each one of us in all of our efforts in the community. Today our theme will be maintaining our momentum for Ramadan. Maintaining our momentum. And we know that we completed the fast, some of us Monday and some of us Tuesday. We were blessed to have a unified Eid here in Charlotte, alhamdulillah, where we all came together, did our takbirs, and made the Eid prayer, heard the lecture. But we know that there were so many things we learned during that month that we have to come up with a plan how we're going to carry that forward. What is the approach? And one of the things we want to start off with is just a reminder of what the month was about. Allah tells us in Surah 2, verse 183. It says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, kutiba alaykum siyamu, kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum, la'allakum tattaqun. So we went through a course, the course of fasting 30 days with one objective, la'allakum tattaqun, in order that you may gain God consciousness. Doesn't say you're going to gain God consciousness. It's not if you just do it for 30 days or 29 days, you're going to automatically get something. It is la'aylakum, in order that you may get it. And it was just taqwa. What is this taqwa? We hear it over and over. It's regardfulness. It's a level of consciousness. And it's not just consciousness regarding not doing something bad. It's consciousness of everything. I mean, how conscious are we of Allah? Think about it. During the fast, you were thinking about Allah probably all throughout the day. Different points of the day. As you got tired during the day. That is just a heightened awareness. And that was the objective of that month. But taqwa is almost like, you think of a reservoir with streams. They all enter this big body of water. Everything we do enters into the stream of taqwa. Allah tells us in Surah Baqarah, He said, righteousness is not defined by turning your face east or west. But He lists like 10 things. And all 10 of those things are going to get you to taqwa. So He wants us to do all these different things in life to increase our regardfulness. But we want to point out one thing that Allah tells us about the fast. And it's in Surah 2, verse 285. And we won't do the whole verse, we'll do the end. It says, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمْ يُسْرًا وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمْ عُسْرًا وَلِيُتُكْمِلُوا عِدَّةَ وَلِيُتَكْبِرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. It says Allah wants for you ease. He does not want for you difficulty during that month, in order that you may complete the fast and give His praise. So one of the things that we should remember about the fast is that the goal was to get taqwa, but you're trying to complete it. It doesn't say how you're going to complete it. It doesn't say you're going to get an A. It doesn't say that you're going to have the perfect month, the perfect days. The goal was to get through this completion. And He doesn't want it to be difficult for us. So think about it, dear believers, as you're going through that intense month of fasting. It's hard to appreciate the fast as you're going through it because you're trying to get through each day. You're trying to get through the reading, the tarawiyah, the fasting from food. It's hard to really appreciate and process the significance of the benefits while you're going through it. Think about this. If I ask everyone here to do 50 push-ups right now, now some of us may be able to do 1 or 2, maybe one of us can do 50. But as you're going through that process, you're not thinking about the muscles that you're getting. You're not thinking about your heart rate increasing and the benefits of those push-ups. You're just trying to get through it. So during the month of Ramadan, we don't always think about what are these words Allah gave us to read each day in our service. How are we benefiting from not gossiping? How are we benefiting from not doing these things? And that's what this time right here is for, dear believers. We went through a training camp of 30 days to prepare us for the marathon of the next 11 months. Think about it. You went through an intense training camp to see if you can purify your heart, purify your soul, because the grind starts now. And some of us, the storm is already here. We're experiencing the challenges of life after Ramadan now. So those things we were doing during the month give us the tools that we need to keep us going throughout the year. Think about it as climbing a mountain. Because when Allah tells us, think about this, dear believers, Allah says fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, that you may get taqwa, right? And you do this every year. From the point you become a conscious Muslim until you can either physically not fast or Allah calls you back, you're taking the same course. What else do we do in life that we do every year? There's no annual thing that we do with the same exact objective. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, he fasted every year with the same objective. Why is it the same objective if we do it every year? Because just like climbing a mountain, each year you're going to see different things on that journey that's going to help you as a person. Your year 1 of fasting may not be like year 5. This past year, you may have seen something about your soul and the tools you'll need to climb this mountain we're climbing now that you didn't have last year. So over the next 11 months, you're going to think of, what tools am I going to get ready to, what am I lacking? So Ramadan is a month to get all the tools you need so that when you climb the mountain, you can say, uh-oh, I needed more Quran. Uh-oh, I needed more of the hadith and the life of the Prophet because it's January and I'm struggling. It's 3 months away, it's 2 weeks away and I'm struggling. So think about it as each year you're climbing a mountain and you're never going to get to the top because if the Prophet can fast each year with the goal of getting taqwa, and he was in his perfect state of his nature, then what does that tell us? That each year there's something more we can learn. There's something more we can develop with. We're going to point out just a couple tools, inshallah, that may help us keep what we gain from that month. The first tool is the tool of sincerity. Allah tells us in Surah 22:78. It's a long ayah, I'll read the beginning. It says, وَجَاهِدُوا فِي اللَّهِ حَقًّا. It says, and strive in Allah's cause with truth. But it also means sincerity. But the word here is haqqa. Haqq is almost related to like law. You want to deal with some type of legal, it would be like some word dealing with haqq. So Allah is telling us to strive in His way in truth. So the first tool we must have, dear believers, is we have to strive in everything we do with sincerity. We have to try to find a way to purify our intentions of the acts that we're doing throughout the year. And He also tells us in Surah Bayyinah, It says, وَمَا أُمَرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلَصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. It says, and they were only commanded to worship Allah sincerely. He was talking about the people of the book. Allah is telling us that our worship needs to be mukhlaseen. It needs to be purified. It's not just going through acts and being a part of the community, and it's even the things that we do within the community, within our worship, we have to purify them things. You may be pursuing something for the wrong reason, not even know about it. Think about it. Throughout the year, we complete different tasks. Some tasks we do for the pleasure of Allah. Some acts we do without even thinking about it. Some acts we do just for our own desires. We do that. We do some acts just for our own desires. It's easier to see this at work than it is in the community life. Think about your jobs and where you work. Aren't there times where you're doing things to get recognition? You may be trying to jockey with a teammate or a peer just so that you can be recognized or distinguished from your coworker. So if you think about sincerity, we have to even attach our work lives and what we do at work to the sincerity of worship. And that takes some time to think about. You got to ask yourself, am I pursuing the things in my work life to earn Allah's pleasure? Or am I just trying to outperform somebody so I can get recognition? Am I pursuing this or that for any pleasure other than Allah? That is crucial. Because we're going to have it's 11 more months back to Ramadan, and throughout this next 11 months, we want to keep our sincerity and our worship exclusively for Allah. And we have to take pauses in our day, in our lives, to make sure that aligns up. A good story I was reading once where a scholar was getting ready to do a speech in front of some folks. And just as he was beginning his speech, he saw his mentor come into the audience and have a seat. So instead of giving that speech, he ended it very quickly and sat down. The reason he did that is because when he saw his mentor, he knew inside of him he was getting ready to add a little extra to that speech to show his mentor what he learned. And he said he feared doing that. So he said he concluded his remarks and took a seat. But that's a conscious act. You have to think about, he knew in himself that seeing his mentor would force him to overdo it. And we do that in our lives sometimes. It's hard to see because we don't have an accounting book of what we do and try to figure out what is for the pleasure of the Lord and what's for ourselves. We don't do that. That's a lot of work. But it's important to take that pause and to think about all of our intentions and keep sincerity as a tool. The next tool we want to mention is the appetite for righteousness. Allah tells us, it says, لَوْ أَنزَلْنَا حَدَّ الْقُرْآنِ عَلَى جَبَّالٍ. It says, if we bestowed this Quran on a mountain, the mountain would have humbled itself. Think about that. Allah tells us if the Quran was revealed to a mountain, the whole mountain would have humbled. But dear believers, some of us read the whole Quran. Some of us heard much of the Quran. What has it done for us? Has it humbled the mountain in us? So one of the tools that we have to pray that Allah increase our righteousness. That is not just something that comes naturally. Just like Allah, you pray that Allah bless you to Islam. We have to pray that Allah increase in us the desire to want to do righteousness. Because we live in a crazy world. And we've been conditioned with appetites that are not the Quran and life of the Prophet. So we have to ask Allah, oh Allah, please increase in me the love of reading these words in this book. Oh Allah, increase in me the love of reading about the Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and the previous prophets. That is something that we have to make an extra step for. And how do we know? You can do a simple test case. During Ramadan, you can read a juice, or much of a juice. After Ramadan, a page, 2 pages. What is the difference? Now we know it's Ramadan, we know we have a heightened spirituality, but why is it harder after? We have to ask Allah to please place in us the love for the things that he loves, so that we may appreciate it more, and so that it may grow to be something that benefits us. Because the Quran is not an encyclopedia. Sometimes we think about the Quran as an encyclopedia. Let me go research Moses, or it's not. It is guidance in that. It is the perfect guidance for the human soul. Even for Muslim and non-Muslim. Anybody can benefit from the Quran. But you have to go into it and pray, and all of us, myself and all of us, have to pray, oh Allah, bless me in the love for righteousness, so that I can have an appetite for this. Because if we thought about our appetites, we may have a fast food appetite in Islam. I mean, it's just sometimes it comes with just your eating habits. If you're not used to reading the Quran and thinking about Islam versus the entertainment world, I mean, we have our interests. All of us have shows we like, hobbies we like, places we like to go. And those things are easy to keep on our mind. But we have to pray for this. Think about it as like this. If we told you that there's $1 million waiting for you in a remote part of California, and you had 72 hours to get there, from right now, each of us, even if we thought we knew the way, you know what we would do? Turn-by-turn navigation. If that $1 million is waiting for you in 3 days, you're not going to risk not getting there. You're going to get there. You're going to use a turn-by-turn. You're going to want exact directions to get you there so you don't miss the cutoff. No, who of us would say, you know what, I think I'm going to go by memory. But turn-by-turn directions is given to us in the Quran, dear believers. Allah is giving us turn-by-turn directions for our lives every minute of the day. But it's hard to see it that way because we have to pray that we can have that relationship with the Quran, where we can see we're not just driving. And many of us, in life, in work, in family, in marriage, and all of our pursuits, we're just driving, hoping that we get to the destination. We have to think about it as, for everything we're pursuing, there's a turn-by-turn direction given to us in the Quran. And it's in English too, it's in Arabic and English. Because the condition of getting it is the heart. And that's one thing that we can pray that Allah keeps it with us. It's in sincerity and the appetite to increase us, to help us get to spend more time with the Quran. And we know, dear believers, some of us work long hours. And after an 8-hour, 10-hour, 12-hour day, throw in a couple of responsibilities with the kids, some other stuff. It's not the easiest thing to go and read for 30 or 40 minutes of Quran. We know that. But see, that's where we have to try to pray that Allah bless us with that. And you may have to find some technology to help us with that. I was talking to one of our technological brothers, and I said, what would help us is if we can get some type of app that will alert us with a verse. Just maybe once a day, just boom, a verse pops up on your phone, and you read it. You can't just get rid of it. You have to read it in order to cancel it. So that will help us in two ways. It can keep us connected to the Quran and connected to each other. Because let's think about it. All of us in this room read the same verse for the next so many months. We will be able to hold each other accountable. You got that verse on? You didn't get that verse on day 12? Dealing with treating me right and not talking about me? You can't do that now because we don't know which verses each other read or which verses. We need an app that says verse of the day, hadith of the day. Just boom, pop right up. We give you a hadith and a verse all in one. We can all download it, and then we have a millionaire in our community. But Allah gives us this turn by turn, and just for young Muslims, you have to begin your journey with the Quran now. We're dependent on you. I mean, myself, all of us really, but especially if you're a younger person, because you are still closer to your future, the day that Allah created you. So if you're going to make any investment in life, invest in the Quran. If you don't have a Quran, please come to somebody in the community. We can get you a Yusuf Ali composition book, and you can begin your journey. because it will benefit you years down the line. Because you want to know, what is this religion for me? You don't want hearsay. You don't want Islam that somebody told you about. You want to be able to begin that journey of reading the Quran. It may take you 10 years. But 10 years from now, you'll be able to talk about the Quran and where it tells you to do certain things from your own studies, not secondhand. And I say again, for those of us who are students of Imam Muhammad, if we haven't begun that journey, we need to begin now. Going back and revisiting and studying. Because we live in a different environment than other places. In some cities, you say you're a part of Imam Muhammad's community, you better be ready. Because they will confront you and say, on the basis of what? And then on the things that you do in Islam, they will confront, they will challenge you. And we haven't experienced that as much here in Charlotte, alhamdulillah, but we don't know. But as a young person, you want to build that relationship with the Quran now. If you're a student of Imam Muhammad, you want to go back and start studying now. Prepare for the future. And it's day by day. And we have a famous dua in the Quran, where we say, "Oh Allah, let our hearts not deviate after you have guided us. And give us the gift of thy grace. For verily thou art the giver of gifts." We say that dua over and over again. That's a serious dua. Every day we have to, especially now, every day we have to say that. Let our hearts not deviate from guiding us to our nature and realigning us with our nature. Because the world is tugging on us. So let's ask Allah to do it. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Today our theme is maintaining the momentum of Ramadan. And we discuss two tools that we want to hold on to throughout the next 11 months. One is sincerity, in trying to make sure we are consciously aware of what we're pursuing and why we're pursuing it. The second tool is asking for Allah to increase our love for righteousness. And the third tool is we want to have the tool of giving. That was something we did during Ramadan, and it came easy. But we don't want, because the month has ended, that we stop giving. We stop being in the spirit of giving. Allah tells us in Surah 91, verse 9. It says, "Qad aflaha min zakaha." It says, certainly those who are caused to be successful are purified, zakaha. But it's the same word, and this is the beauty of the Quran, the same word that is used for purification is used for giving. Zakat. And we don't see it as a way of purifying ourselves. We see it, sometimes we disconnect it, we see it as just a to-do list for being Muslim. Okay, I got my 5 pillars, zakat is one of them. But we have to see this wealth as a means of purification in a way that we may never have thought about before. Think about it. You have weeks where you have bad weeks that you know you committed sin. Whatever the sin is, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, giving charity extinguishes sin just like water does to fire. Think about that. Giving charity extinguishes sin just like water does to fire. So we have to go from a point of checking the box of writing a zakat to say, you know what, I messed up this week. When I come to the Masjid, I'm going to give. And I'm going to not just give, I'm going to say, oh Allah, accept this giving for the wrongdoing I've done. That's where we have to get to. And it's just part of life. Hey, I was back talking about a brother this week, or I felt like, whatever it is. There's nothing wrong with associating your giving with the wrong you've done if you ask Allah to accept that for you. But it just not just giving for sin, but just giving to build our community. We have to see it in a different way. And think about this. Before the Prophet migrated, peace and blessings be upon him, from Mecca to Medina, he needed something from the people in Medina. They needed to make a bay'ah. He asked them, the companions asked him, well, we're not going to let the prophet come to your area until you do something that's going to show that when we come and he comes, you're going to protect him. So we don't really have this in our life. We don't see this concept in our day-to-day Muslim lives because we don't have to verbally go to anybody and give a commitment. But financially, we do this. I mean, many of us have DirecTV. We give our bay'ah every month. Auto Draft, DirecTV, Time Warner, Sprint, AT&T. We don't even think about it. It just comes right out at the time it comes out. But we have to have that same level of commitment to the Masjid. We can't easily just have these auto drafts for the dunya and not feel that same level of commitment for Islam. I mean, and we're not here to make anyone feel bad because this is something that all of us are struggling with. Many of us entertain ourselves and spend more entertainment than we do Islam. So we have to see it as how do we get into ourselves to a point where we can have an auto draft for entertainment. We need to have something for the community. Doesn't have to. It could be this masjid or any masjid, or it could be any Islamic interest. And we have to see it as it's purifying us. It's not about where you're giving the money to as much. I mean, yes, it's about the cause. We want to build something across the street from here or in our property. We want to do that. But it's really going to benefit the person who gives. And I'll share this with you. I had I was at the Eid prayer and they gave the announcement for giving for the Gaza incident. So I had a quick little scrimmage with Shaitan, alhamdulillah, when I won that one. But what he was trying to tell me, as the buckets was going around, he was saying, well, you already paid his account. So the bucket's coming, you already took care of that. So eventually, as I was getting close to the door to leave, this came to my mind. I said, whether I give or don't give, once I leave this room, the opportunity to give is gone. So that's just an opportunity you missed. So yes, the money was collected and was, alhamdulillah, sent over, but who did it benefit? It benefited those who had the opportunity to be a part of that. So when the masjid asked that we want to have a fundraiser, or we want to raise money for our schools or our camps, yes, it's going to benefit those things, but it's going to benefit you. Because that's one of the ways that your deeds will be increased in the next life, is what you gave in this side. And we all know that we have a big debt. One of the biggest debts you have in life is the debt of Hajj, which is less than 2 months away. And we have to remind ourselves, the believers, that is when you think of the bills you have to pay as a Muslim, that's one of right after you take your shahada, that's right up there. And it's something that we should think about. We should think about it. I mean, it's not that you should never take a vacation. That is the debt we all owe to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have to find a way to prioritize it and make the intention and get it closer to the top. And that's something that this is the point of being in the community, so that we can remind ourselves, remind each other of our obligation. So inshallah, if you have not made your intention, just make your intention that Allah bless you to have the desire to make the Hajj. And bless you to have the desire to want to think about your finances that way. Because the Hajj starts now. Even though you think about going away and spending 21 days, it's really starting now. It's starting right up here in the mind. Am I really going to buy this kind of car? Or am I going to get this kind of car so the rest can... Am I really going to take this trip, take that trip, or buy this and that? We all have to go, inshallah. So may Allah continue to bless us in giving. Giving is a way to keep the momentum that we gain during Ramadan. Giving each week and not just giving money. Let me share with you as we close hadith regarding sadaqah. The Abu Dawud al-Jafari said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, sadaqah is prescribed for every person every day the sun rises. I said, O Messenger of Allah, from what do we give sadaqah if we do not possess property? He said, the doors of sadaqah are the takbir, saying Allahu Akbar, saying Subhanallah, saying La ilaha illallah, saying Astaghfirullah, enjoining good, forbidding evil, removing thorns and bones and stones from the path of people, guiding the blind, listening to the deaf and the dumb until you understand them, guiding a person to his object of need if you do not know where it is, hurrying with the strength of your legs to one who is in sorrow, appealing for help, supporting the weak through the strength of your arms. These are all the doors of fellowship. So when we talk about giving and how it purifies us, it's not just money. You may not be a wealthy person, but you may say, you know what, I'm going to come to the Masjid and help set up for the program. I'm going to come and make sure that the parking lot is secure. That's between you and Allah, what your intention is. But this is just to let us know that it's not just money. So inshallah, let us be a community that holds on to the themes that we learned on the month of Ramadan. It keeps our soul connected and stay connected as a people and as a community. Let us begin our announcement. As you leave, please don't forget your zakat and sadaqah. We have a new payment swipe method for you that will make it easy for you to purify your souls and contribute to the Hey, this is for you, it's not for us. I don't know if I can explain that now. It's not for you, it's not for us, it's for you. Tomorrow there will be brothers class following Fajr Salat. There will sisters class tomorrow. There will be an Imam staff meeting at 10 a.m. Sunday. Please have your reports written out for submission. For sisters only, there will be an Eid celebration pool party on August 22nd from 2 to 6.
23rd.
At the home of Sister Grace.
23rd.
23rd. Sorry. Sister Dr. Khadija Muhammad's class on naturally managing weight loss has been rescheduled to Saturday, August 30th at 10 a.m. Please, Sister Khadija, for more information. Sister Jessie Shaw's daughter passed away this week. Her funeral will be at Greer Funeral Home on John Carroll Avenue this Sunday at 1 p.m. Brother Jonathan Nazir will be promoting his first professional fight next weekend, Saturday, August 16th, at the Carroll Hefner Center. This is the first major boxing event in Charlotte in a decade. Please support our brother. Hector Camacho Jr., who is Muslim, will be making his professional comeback. Brother Jonathan has tickets immediately following the Jumuah prayer. Also, we have a Muslim-owned, I believe it's a preschool. It's called Hugs and Giggles, and it's located off of 10431 Latin Court. And the open enrollment is from August 19th to 22nd. It's an open enrollment for that. We have a farmer's market that's sitting out across the way on our property. Please support our farmers so that they can grow and then they continue to service our community. So better afternoon for being your husband.